Hey, what's up guys? Back with a different type of video. I don't really do too many gaming videos on this channel, but I wanted to do this video just to give you guys my overall thoughts on the Gears 5 tech test. Since I've been a fan since the original game, and it's probably been one of my most played games since I've had any kind of gaming console. So I just wanted to give you guys my overall thoughts of the good and bad and what I think, coming from a Gears player who's been playing the game since 06, 07. So the first thing I'm going to do is go over the good stuff, of course, and then the later half of the video, I'll go over the cons and stuff that I really don't like too much about the game so far, just from playing the tech test for the 2 weekends that it was up. Anyways, guys, let's get into the video. Of course, I'm going to have some clips playing in the background just from stuff I recorded while I was playing with a couple friends, and just in general when I was playing. And when I talk about certain things in the video, I'm going to put clips in the video so you guys can see what I'm talking about, and just having me pointing stuff out in the clips. But let's get into it. Alright, the first pro about the game I would say is the gameplay. I do really like the gameplay. I think it's really fun. Coming from Gears 4, I played probably 150 or 200 hours in that game, which is probably a little bit too much because after a while it just got so monotonous and just got so boring. Like I tried to play the other day and I couldn't even get through a match of Execution, even though that fucking, without being so bored out of my mind and just amazed by all the bullshit that's still in the game. So Gears 5 is definitely a step up gameplay-wise. I think it's a lot more fun. They give you a lot more stuff to work for in the progression in the game. That was one of the big things about Gears 4 is you didn't really have anything to work for, and besides playing the game, you know, playing competitive like Escalation or whatever, you didn't really have anything to work towards. So I do think they rectified this in this game where you actually have stuff to work for, which I really like because it's going to make you want to play the game longer and, you know, unlock more stuff and more skins and everything for your characters and your guns. Instead of the way that they had it in Gears 4 where you had to pretty much buy the packs all the time, either with real money or the in-game currency, and then you didn't really get too much of the stuff in the packs anyway, so then you pretty much just wasted your time grinding to get the points, and then you got crap in the pack, or you're actually spending real money to get anything that you really want in the game. The second thing I want to talk about is the shotgun. Overall, I do like the shotgun. I think it has good power. I think it has a decent amount of range. It might have a little bit too range, but I'll talk about that in the cons. Overall, I do like the way the shotgun feels and how it shoots compared to Gears 4 when, you know, you try to put, you know, 20 shots into somebody and they're just still wall bouncing around and everything and you just get chunked. That's another good thing about the damage being a little bit more in this compared to Gears 4 is people aren't sitting around, you know, trying to wall bounce 1,000 mile an hour on keyboard or mouse or whatever on controller, and then they're just barrel stuffing you or trying to, you know, just get as close as they can by wall bouncing really fast. I've seen a lot more strafe battles in this game, which brought me back to like Gears 1 times because, you know, a lot of the shotgun battles in Gears 1 was based on strafing and, you know, actually landing your shots instead of just wall bouncing around 1,000 mile an hour to run up and barrel stuff somebody, which is something that always annoyed me about Gears 4 and Gears 3. It started in Gears 3, but Gears 4 probably annoyed me the most. I also want to talk about the Lancer overall. I think it might be a little bit too powerful though. I do like the way it feels, like it has recoil now, and you're not, you know, just sitting there bullet hosing across the map without having to control your gun. It's not like a laser beam where you're just spraying across the map and you can cross Lancer somebody down in like 1 second. You can still do that, but it takes a lot more to control your gun compared to, you know, just holding your trigger on somebody and just shooting them down with an active reload or whatever. Overall, with the new guns and the old guns, they definitely do feel a lot better to use. They feel like they have a lot of power to them. You know, they don't feel like you're running around with a toy gun in your hand. They all feel pretty good when it comes to, you know, just shooting people and the way it hits. Also, when it comes to the gun sounds, I think they sound really good, and they sound a lot more beefy than they did in the other games. Especially the Lancer. The Lancer sounds a lot better. Now, one of the biggest things that I came to love about the game, just playing it, you know, the 2 weekends, is they fixed the active reload system finally. Back in Gears 4, the active reload was so broken you can literally just come out of spawn, you know, wait like 30 seconds and get an entire active clip before you run into a shotgun battle, which really annoyed the hell out of me in that game because it would give people confidence where they can just run up and barrel stuff you and wall bounce 1,000 mile an hour with an entire active clip, and they have 8 bullets to just spray you down. The same thing with their Lancer. You know, you get ready to run into a battle, you know, you're going to cross somebody or whatever with your friend, you guys can both get an active reload clip and pretty much Lancer somebody down like super quick because of the active damage. That's one thing in Gears I never really understood was the active reload. It always annoyed me, even since Gears 1 where people would run around with the sniper and just active people, and then you just, you know, you get the one shot down. Just never really made any sense to be able to get an active reload and get a damage boost. And in Gears 4 it was just terrible because you can literally get an entire clip without having to do anything. You didn't have to waste ammo, you can just literally reload your gun and get in a full active clip. So you're pretty much running around with a damage boost at all times. So I'm glad that they took out the damage boost and they added a little spin on the active system where you know, you might get a fire faster rate, or you might get like with the sniper, I think it makes the headshot circle where you go on their head. I think it makes it a little bit smaller if you get an active, so it's easier to get a headshot or whatever. Which that could be a problem, you know, down the line or whatever. But overall, taking out the active damage on the active was probably the best thing they could have done, because that was one of the biggest downfalls when it comes to Gears 4, and people just running around being annoying online. That's one thing I really didn't like about the game. So another good thing that they've done right on this game is the Season Pass. The Season Pass for Gears 4 literally made no sense. You paid an extra $30 or $40 and you pretty much got nothing. So I'm really glad that they're taking the Battlefield route and not having any Season Pass and just giving everybody the map for free. So now another good thing I want to talk about that I really like that they changed up was the core and the competitive tuning per se in the game. Gears 4 had the two different tunings where you had competitive, which was escalation and execution, and then all of the other game modes in the game were core. So, you know, you had a lot more damage on your gun, you had a lot more range, and everything was just easier to use, you know, just for the less experienced players, where they can, you know, they can run in the game and they can pretty much have a good time, because they're going to get kills regardless, because every gun does a lot more damage than, you know, it normally would. So that's one thing I really like that they got rid of, which didn't really make any sense to have two different tunings in a game. Like, no other game that you play has two different weapon tunings when it comes to damage and everything. So I think that's a smart thing that they could have done, is go back to the one tuning. So it kind of feels like Gears 3. Gears 3 was like one tuning, and that was more towards like the core. So I think this is kind of like a medium between the core and the competitive tuning. So that's definitely one thing that I liked overall that they changed about the game. Another thing I wanted to talk about was just the overall movement. When it comes to like wall bounce speed, Gears 4 was ridiculous, like I said, with the wall bounce, because you can wall bounce really fast, especially if you, I think if you use like the keyboard mouse, you can like wall bounce between two walls really fast, back and forth, which is really annoying, honestly. So I'm really glad that they slowed down the gameplay a little bit. I mean, you can still wall bounce, you know, decently fast. I'll throw a couple clips of me right now doing some wall bouncing. It's nothing like super fast or anything that you can't really control, and I haven't really seen too many people in general wall bouncing about, unless I was playing like a, you know, a super sweaty team. So yeah, it's definitely a good thing that they added in the game, is they pretty much slowed down the gameplay just a little bit, not too much. It's kind of like a mix between Gears 3 and Gears 4, which I was a huge player of Gears 3, even though a lot of my friends didn't like the game because they were trash at it, but a lot of hours on the multiplayer on that, you know, despite all the problems with the all the crap that game had in it. But yeah, that's the main good things about the game that I liked. Now we're going to get into the cons and just things that I didn't really like, or just things that I looked at and observed while I was playing the game. Of course, that's what a beta and a tech test is for, so they can get feedback and you know, change stuff accordingly or whatever. So hopefully, if the coalition watches this video, they'll get an idea of what I think should be changed if they take it into consideration or whatever. But let's go ahead and get into the cons. Alright, so now we're going to get into the things that I don't really care about the game, or I don't really like about the game, or things that I think should be altered a little bit from what they are now, you know, currently. Like I said, that's what the beta is for, so they can get everybody's feedback on what should be changed and then try to change it before the actual physical game comes out next month. Now I want to go back to the shotgun. Like I said, I do really like the shotgun. I think it feels really good when it comes to shooting people and everything, and you don't have to worry about people wall bouncing a super amount, because the shotgun is quite powerful, like it should be. But I think it might be a little bit too powerful. Like, I'd say probably if it was like at 80%, I think they should drop it down, you know, about 10 or 15% damage-wise when it comes to, you know, downing people or doing that much damage. Because usually you can get a 2-shot on people, and if you're like a little bit farther away, usually it's like a 3-shot down, you can kill them. But I think a little bit, but overall I do think the power should be, you know, taken down just slightly a little bit. Like I said, I do like the shotgun power overall, because it makes you know, pay attention to what you're doing, and it makes you try to land shots even if you're hard aiming. That's another thing I didn't really care for. Kind of brought me back to like Gears 2 times, where everyone is just, you know, shooting bricks out and they're just hard aiming. Maybe if they drop down the power on the shotgun just about 10% or 15%, I think the shotgun would be a lot better overall. Also, I want to talk about a few more things with some different guns. The biggest thing I want to talk about just from playing the district map is that the buzzkill, which wasn't very good in the Gears 4 game, like it was pretty much worthless, honestly. I mean, just from that map, it seems like the buzzkill is like super overpowered. Like, you can literally get like a quad or a triple kill, you know, just shooting people in the middle and doing a shit ton of damage, because You can literally, I think it's like 2 blades or something to kill somebody, and you can just spam it. Even though it does have like a clip per se, it's still, I think it's a little bit too powerful. So I think that should be dialed back a little bit, because it definitely, you can just run into a battle with, you know, 4 or 5 people in front of you and just blind fired or whatever, and just pretty much chunk them without having to try too hard. It doesn't have too many blades in it, but I still think it is quite powerful, and I think it needs to be dialed back just a little bit. Alright, so the last few things I want to talk about in the con list is the gameplay. Like I said, I do really like the gameplay overall, but these are just like the main things that annoy me about the game, just from playing the tech test for the past the 2 weekends or whatever that it was out. Alright, firstly we're going to talk about how people play the game. For some reason in this game, in both game modes, whichever game mode it was, Escalation or King of the Hill, basically everybody would be, like, you could not fight one person. Like, there would be 2 or 3 people on you at all time. Even if you're like across the map, nowhere near the point, the people would always be next to you, which made no sense at all. Like, people stayed camping together and hard aiming together, because I don't know, I've just never really seen people group up as much in any Gears game than this game. So that's more of the community and how they play the game, and not really, you know, the game itself. But I think this game encourages people to stick together a lot more when it comes to, you know, running up on people, because it seems like I always get double teamed or triple teamed, which really annoyed me about the game. The next thing I want to talk about is the Omen. So for some reason when you're getting shot, I'm not sure if it's just me, but when I'm getting shot between, you know, like 20% and like 80%, I don't really know the difference between what's on the screen and what I'm seeing. Like, I'll think like I have no damage on me, but then I'll be thinking I have no damage on me, then the next second I'll be down on my knees. Like, I don't understand the damage on you, like on the screen. Like, it doesn't tell you how much damage you have. Like, if you're just getting like lanced across the map, you'll think that you're fine, but then the next thing you know, you're down on your knees. So I don't really see a gradual change between the redness on your screen from, you know, 20% to 90%. So that's one thing that really annoyed me about the game also. I'm not sure if that has to do with the Omen or anything. Now, another thing I want to talk about was something that was huge in Gears 4 when it comes to, you know, people being corny as hell, is the up A. The up A was literally so broken in Gears 4. It's like, as soon as you up A'd, you got like an instant 100% boost on your shotgun damage. So everything, you know, people were just running away, and then they would just turn around and try to fucking run up and barrel stuff you, or run up and do the up A, because literally the up A does so much damage, where people were just sitting there trying to get up A's like all the time. The up A still is in this game. It's not as prevalent as Gears 4, because Gears 4 was pretty much like riddled with people using the up A and just active reloading. I think that's going to be another thing in this game that's going to get annoying, is people running around and trying to up A, even though the shotgun does a lot more damage, where you can, you know, kill them if they try to do an up A sometimes, but a lot of the times you can run around and up A people, and you know, they don't even know what's going on, and you still chunk them in like one shot. And you know, you can still do those shots where you get ready to wall bounce on the wall, and then you pull off a little bit. It's not as much as Gears 4. They did take quite a bit of that out, but I do think that's going to be one thing that's going to be annoying about the game that I'm not going to like, is people doing the up A and people doing the stupid pull off cover or pop shots that are off cover, and they just, you know, decimate you because they have so much damage for no reason. Now, speaking of gameplay, I want to talk about the 2 maps that were in the game, District and Training Grounds. As far as District, I think for both game modes, I think the map was too small. I think, you know, every time you turn around, there's somebody next to you, or there's somebody behind you, or you're getting flanked. I just think that the map is way too small for that game mode. You know, you just run up. I think that's more of like a, you know, execution type game mode or team deathmatch. But when it comes to like points, it just seems like people were flanking you every 2 seconds. So I do hope the other maps that are in the game are a little bit bigger and, you know, not so small. Training Grounds is a little bit bigger, but it's still kind of a small map because there's so many boxes and, you know, different places to hide where you can still get flanked, you know, right behind you, you know, even though you just spawn. That's another thing I didn't really like about the game, was the spawns. Some reason in King of the Hill, like, you always seem to, you're either the team or the other team literally spawns right next to the point while they have it or while you have it. So they just have like their entire team spawn right next to the point, and then you spawn across the map, which never made any sense to me. That was one thing that happened in Gears 4 a lot too, where you would either spawn directly next to the point or you would spawn nowhere near the point the opposite team would. So now, just from when I was playing the game, even though the first day that the game was out, you literally cannot find a match. I think we found 3 matches and played 3 matches, or actually 2.5 matches the entire time we were searching, and I was on from like maybe 7 o'clock to about midnight, and I found literally 2.5 games. Alright guys, so the last thing I want to talk about pretty much is probably the biggest thing that's the biggest topic for discussion from pretty much the whole community, and that of course is the reverse omen. I'm not sure why they really decided to go with this design. Like, for me, honestly, I don't really care for it. I think it doesn't look right, and I think the opacity is too much. Pretty much if I'm playing COG and I run up like I'm going to run up and shoot somebody, and there's a swarm, literally as soon as I run up and maybe they shoot me with a shotgun once or something, the reverse omen and the red on the screen is so intense that as soon as I get shot, I literally can't even see the swarm. It's like they all blend into the background. It's like, I'm not sure if it was that way for anybody else, but for me personally, when I run up to somebody to shoot them and my entire screen is red from one shot and they literally disappear into the red on the screen, it literally makes it so I can't see them at all. Basically, I'll throw up some pictures or whatever, or just some clips right now of what the reverse omen looks like when you're full red. And just for me, like I said, as soon as I get shot, when I'm playing on the COG team and I get shot by a locust or a swarm, I literally can't see them anymore. It's like as soon as I get shot, they disappear into the red on the screen. And it just kind of makes it hard for me to see where I'm shooting at anyways. And I know they have that little indicator that goes around like which way you're getting shot, but once your screen is all red and you can't see anything, that doesn't really matter anyways, because you can't even really focus on anything besides a tiny little circle on the screen where that's supposed to be like your focus point. But I just think the opacity on the reverse omen is way too much, honestly. So I definitely think that needs to be, dialed back probably like 10 or 15 or 20% from the opacity that it is right now, because when I get shot by somebody, it's like they literally pull a magic trick and just disappear on the screen and I can't see them anymore. And being that the shotgun is so strong, those are crucial times when you get shot once and then you pretty much can't see where you're shooting to get your second shot off, because that's most likely going to be your down or your kill. So that's one thing I really didn't like about the reverse omen in general. But I definitely think they need to tweak that a lot more than what it is now. We're a little over a month away from the game being released. I'm definitely excited to have the game out and play the game. They haven't really released too much information on the game until now in the tech test, so I'm really glad the game's coming out, because it's been a while since we've had a new Gears game. I think Gears 4 came out in like 2016, I believe. Hopefully this game is a good game. Hopefully they learned from their mistakes from the last game and all of the hate they got from the community from all the stupid shit that they done. Hopefully they have more original maps in this game than Gears 4, because Gears 4 didn't have anything for maps. They pretty much just had, 10 maps or whatever, and then they would make maps and they would make like a dark version or the wind flare version, which made no sense to me. That just shows like a lack of creativity between making maps and just redoing maps from previous games, which I don't mind. But when it comes to new content, I hope that there's more maps on the game that aren't in other games and they're unique to this game, and they make more maps that are actually worth wanting to play. I'm super glad they got rid of the Season Pass, because the Season Pass in Gears 4 literally made no sense. It literally just took your money and you didn't really get anything. Like, you got the maps so you can play them in private, which didn't really make any sense to pay an extra 30 or 40 or whatever I paid. So yeah, I definitely appreciate how they are going to do content this time around. So, like I said, the pros on the game. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching the video. Like I said, I don't really do too many gaming videos too often, but once this game comes out, we're going to be doing montages on here. Also, we're starting a clan, so we might do some clan videos, just upload them once in a while. And maybe I'll do like a 6-month review after the game's already out for 6 months, and see if it's still worth playing in 2020. So if you guys want to hit me up on Xbox so we can play, or PC if you're playing on PC, but I'd rather be on Xbox. If you guys want to hit me up, we got a set of friends that we're trying to get a clan going, so if you guys want to, just play some game battles and have some fun, whooping kids' ass, then definitely comment below or whatever. I'll leave my gamer tag and everything below, so if you guys want to add me up, go ahead and do that. And thanks for watching the video, guys. If you guys want to list your pros and cons or whatever in the comments and discuss the things that I've talked about in this video, just go ahead and leave a comment. And thanks for watching the video, guys. Peace.